we coming from the true space. We ain't entertaining neighbors, I don't give a fuck what you say. Found the universal coochie, planting seeds and birds fruit. Now I'm really looking juicy. Welcome to the true space. Yeah, bitch, welcome to the true space. Welcome to the true space. Yeah, bitch, welcome to the true space. Welcome to True Space. My name is Open Book. This is my partner.
Hey guys, this is Harith. Welcome back to Truspace.
And this is your weekly horoscope. So let's get into these alignments. On Monday, July 4th, the moon is moving into Virgo, making a trine with Uranus and Taurus right now. How do you think that's going to
So
be?
right now the moon is in the second quarter of this moon cycle that started with the new moon in Cancer, which allowed us to really bring our emotions, feelings with our awareness together in an area to create more feelings, to create comfortability for our unique original value that we've been creating for a while, especially after Gemini season, allowing us to collect our thoughts, ideas, scatterness, so we could bring it into our home. So in our home right now, we're making these things comfortable. Our thoughts, ideas, Gemini, our unique values, Uranus in Taurus, with the new moon and the sun right there, that allowed us to connect deeply to how we want to connect with the entire collective, because that we had a trine to the Neptune and Pisces. But right now with the moon and Virgo, this is us almost like practicalizing everything, figure out, okay, this is the new way I feel about these things, but right now I'm ready to practicalize, come up with the routines, patterns. What do I actually need to do to make myself feel comfortable? Because I know how I felt, but right now I gotta put in the work to make myself comfortable, because I know I'm gonna go into winter, and in Capricorn I gotta figure out what is the plan do I need to initiate to make my home more safe.
Yeah, really helping you formulate that plan, or giving you information to analyze that helps you make more sense of your emotions and where that emotional energy is going for sure. And then off of the new moon, just like what you're saying, with that new way of feeling, and then the moon in Leo, you expressed those emotions. You had shown those emotions out there. You were giving with those emotions, and then in Moon and Virgo, you're kind of seeing how that light you had shone ricocheted and how it was responded to in your environment, and using that information to go and see how you can reorganize your emotions, or how you go about being emotional and expressing yourself to ways that are more practical, the ways that are more grounded in
Mm-hmm.
reality. And then Uranus and Taurus fucks with this because the ground is really unstable right now. So we really need our emotions to not get flunked out in our
Mm-hmm.
emotions. We really need to have a sense of grounding, because this is a highly socialized, volatile area with Uranus there, the North Node there. So it's like it's not necessarily too
Mm-hmm.
comfortable. And then the moon being exalted in Taurus, the moon ruling Cancer, it's kind of helping solidify that moon energy in terms of emotion, where your Uranus and Taurus is adding that reminder of the need of stability when you're going to be an emotional. So Cancer doesn't just be emotion and give out care, like that. It's like, oh yeah, I need to be a little bit
Mm-hmm.
more conservative with
Mm-hmm.
these energies.
Because like right now, the moon in Virgo could make you
And,
highly analytic, which benefits your unique value that you're developing. Uranus in Taurus, it's almost like Taurus this big ass block, and and Virgo is like the filling for the block, the small pieces. You putting out the pieces together to fulfill your unique original value. But with the sun in Cancer sextiling it, that's allow you to be much more emotionally connected with everybody, as opposed to being very analytical and dry with the way you utilize your emotion, because the way you're acting right now is the sun in Cancer. You're initiating feelings, emotions, and ways of connecting. Mm-hmm.
yeah, for sure. For sure. So I see on Monday it'll be more so like maybe you start putting two and two together on your emotions and how you can start utilizing them, or what's unique about your emotions right now that can help you gain more stability, more comfortability in your home, and more ease of access to express yourself. So really peep when the moon, for those trines and sextiles, because it can really help you put together your emotions. Like, depending on the seeds that you had planted on the new moon, in terms of how you want to feel and how open and honest you were about that energy. That's what happens with Cancer. Sometimes they hide behind the shell a little bit too much and they feel the way that they feel, but they bottle it up. And that's the worst thing for a Cancer to do, to bottle that shit up. Water signs do it all the time, and that's the worst thing that these niggas do. Bottle up all of that shit, because it needs to be. It becomes toxic once it's held on to. So really utilize this energy, and it may not necessarily be like a whole blueprint being given to you, but it could be, the opportunity to see how you can learn
Yeah,
more.
because there's a lot of earth and water energy. That's the information. That is you having the emotion to have the energy to do things, but also the earth energy to build the structure.
Exactly. Exactly. And it's helping you understand that. And sometimes it doesn't necessarily always line up. But that's why you have to have understanding of self, and have some of that control over that water. Maybe that's what Aquarius is really trying to teach us. Saturn and Aquarius is trying to help us do how to, move that water.
Mm.
So then yeah, the moon in Virgo is making a sextile with the sun in Cancer and the Scorpio North Node. So maybe even making us, yeah, really make sense out of that water energy of our past and our
Mm.
insecurities, and certain things that we have went to help us start to understand world and start piecing it better in a more productive manner, where we're not worrying about it or being vulnerable, but we understand what we need to do to be emotionally strong and
Mm-hmm.
stable. And then the moon in Virgo is in conjuncting Chiron and Aries, and it's opposite to Neptune and Pisces. How do you see that
So it's gonna
energy
be
playing
as
out?
we're attempting to like emotionally practicalize everything that we expressed while the moon was in Leo and what we initiated while the moon was in Cancer. Right now, we're coming to face into how we felt about I like a sense of worth. But right now, while the moon is in Virgo, we're looking at it from a much more analytical, practical perspective, where we were not thinking emotional like Aries, trying to always initiate new ways of seeing and feeling about our personal issues, other people's personal issues. We're trying to view things from the most practical point of view, and that's the in conjunction between Aries and Virgos. Virgos, they go off what they think, while Aries, they go off the first thing they see in their mind and things of that nature. So Kari and Aries would trigger things based on trauma, based on the uh, how you experience them. If you don't know how to control them, because that's what actually your nervous system do. It allows you to interpret things outside of you, but it's based upon the spirit and observer to control how this signal nervousness is gonna affect you. Are you gonna just interpret it biologically, or are you just gonna let it move you? And that's what Cardia and Aries really is about. Every time you see that trauma playing over and over, that's how it's gonna make you feel. But with the moon is Virgo being in your digestive system, you could view things and practicalize it from a deep rooted area, much more closer to where is your water cycle, your Scorpio eighth house. So, because you and Virgo, your sixth house, your digestive system allows you to understand yourself on a much more deeper level, where Aries, the first house, is a much more superficial, more external type of thing. So that's the in conjunction and misunderstanding.
For sure. I feel like both of them, Aries and Virgo, know that they have to utilize the energy of the other, but they dread it. It's like, Like I know I have to, like Virgo, I know I have to react faster. I know I have to have more act within the moment, you know, and be more,
Mm-hmm.
you know, passionate and not try and
Mm-hmm.
analyze and put things together all the time. But they're like, fuck, you know, it's like that's awkward. That's weird for me. Same thing with Aries, you know, they're like, I know I have to put two and two together eventually, you know, instead of just acting in the moment. But it's like, yeah, it's kind of, you know, that's not how I
Mm-hmm.
normally do things. So no,
And
definitely
that's what lead
see
that's what leads
that.
into
And
things
then
like stomach butterflies because you're misinterpreting something outside of you, and then that affects what your digestive system. That's in like a very micro way.
wow, yeah, that's true. Wow, yeah, the butterflies in your stomach. That's interesting. You know, with Virgo, maybe even
Mm-hmm.
thinking too much. Yeah, it's interesting. Interesting. And then Moon and Virgo opposite Neptune in Pisces.
Mm,
How do you
so
see this? Our emotions kind of
so
opposing our
like here,
beliefs.
right here, especially with Neptune being a retrograde, you don't want to really back down on any belief, dreams, and illusion that you really been giving meaning and reasoning and building faith and mysticism on, because almost like the moon and Virgos, they make you too safe in that sense to go after the larger dreams and illusion that you've been building on before they're retrograde. And then right now the retrograde is here. You want to go back in your dreams and illusion because you think you think too practical, you think too safe, and that's the downfall of a lot of Virgos. They don't have to expand outside of their like analytical nature, detailed nature, which allow their opposite sign Pisces to manifest bigger, wider things than they are, which something they can't even calculate. How did this Pisces did what they do? But that's the so that then this moon opposition with Neptune, you don't want to be caught up in analyzing your dreams too much. You just want to do it enough to give it a structure. You could add it to your daily routines and patterns. That's how you would integrate it properly.
For sure, for sure. I can so see, yeah, with Virgo helping you make sense out of your emotions and making you want more practicality, your emotions to be go more to a service, to see your emotions lead to some type of
Mm-hmm.
end. But your dreams are very big, you know, or they're not that simple. Or even if they are that simple, you know, it's all encompassing. It's not something that, you know, can be written off or analyzed too easy. So that desire for practicality may, you know, cause you to use the wrong lens in terms of looking at your dreams. You know, you're getting too narrow. You're getting too, you know, lost in the devil in
Mm-hmm.
the details. Just like what you were saying, you know, that's how Virgo can get
Mm-hmm.
too worried. You know, you're
Mm-hmm.
not supposed to be worried about your dreams or whether you fulfill your dreams. That's God. That's
Mm-hmm.
God's work over then and there. You're just supposed to do, you know, the work up to them and dream and feel it and to understand that influence and dive into it, not necessarily, you know, hold on
Mm-hmm.
to it like it's like destiny or
Mm-hmm.
something like that. You're supposed to
And,
let that stuff
and
happen or
understand
let it
it's the
go.
moon. So the moon is what we use to measure seconds a minute. It's what we're supposed to jump onto for these few days. But in totality of us traveling through the zodiac wheel is Neptune, Uranus, and Saturn is what important in totality. So you don't want to be flunked out in this next 2 days,
Yeah.
criticizing going back in your dreams and illusions that you've been building energy on for so long. That's the worst thing in
That's
astrology. Starting on building something, then you have to go back while the planet is not going back. They're not retrograding or nothing. It's like you're attempting to go against God at that point.
yeah, yeah. That's for sure. That's for sure. And then the square with Venus and Gemini. I see that playing out, but like we were talking about with Venus and Gemini being
Mm-hmm.
testing with the Moon and Virgo. You know, you want it to be more practical. You want it to
Mm-hmm.
be into an end, but you're supposed to go out and see the different ways that you can utilize in your talent so that you can connect with people on a level, but you want to see something from it. So I definitely see a frustration
It's 100%
in
frustration because
constant.
you're caught up between the ending portion of the spring season where you're trying to see the result of birth, and then you're caught up at the end of the summer season, wanting the result of your summer. So you're trying to see results from both sides, but it's mutable, so it leads almost to nothing at the same time. You're just being thrown in a position to really analyze and look at
Yeah,
both sides of like Mercury and things of that nature, really. Like Neptune, and then Neptune in Pisces too is throwing a
for
whole
sure.
other confusion. Hmm.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Having this emotional influence that's behind the scenes,
Hmm.
subconsciously, that's pulling
Hmm.
the strings of as well of what you want to
It,
see play out and how you're testing out. So it's yeah, definitely a whole
hmm. It's
mutable
almost like you're going
cesspool.
outside and seeing all the potential for all these relationships. Then you're trying to see behind the scene realm. You see all the dreams and illusions that it could connect you with each of these potential relationships that you have to go after, Venus and Gemini. But then you're seeing all these crazy dreams, Neptune and Pisces, that's throwing at you when it comes to each person. So that's the square. It's like you're
Yeah,
confused, yo.
yeah, yeah, definitely. Definitely. That's why you utilize the moon in Virgo. Remember on Monday not to get too worried. Remember not to let it to bring out that quality to really just sit back and analyze on what's going on and try and put
Mm-hmm.
two and two together. It's gonna be hard to put two and two together, but know that you're collecting the information to do so. So even if it doesn't, don't get worried. You'll just make it worse. Trust.
Facts, yo. Virgos worry about not worrying.
That's facts. That's facts. Pluto in Capricorn opposing Lilith in
Hmm.
Cancer.
That's gonna
Think
be a
that play out.
highly, almost like a sensitive moment where you attempt to take power and control of a feeling that you feel is getting objectified by the world, by the government, something the government is doing or going back in when it comes to structure, building, stocks, crypto, and things of that nature. That's really affecting a deep moment into your heart. It's almost like you feel like you're gonna lose your house or lose your home and things of that nature. So it's almost like you're trying to get comfortable with the darkest situation that can happen at home because of what's happening in the business world, marketing, and things of that nature. The news, the wars.
I bet it's really making. I see it. We see that playing out. It's really making people. You see people getting lost in comforts, to a whole nother degree. But we see that change of society coming. So it makes sense for us to hold on to those comforts because it's like, oh my God, we're about to
Yeah.
lose these things. Or I won't be able to have this comfort for too long. I see it encroaching. So it's like I see people
Mm-hmm.
holding on to that, really not wanting to
Mm-hmm.
let it go. And that's how Monday's looking like. On Tuesday, July 5th, we have the moon in Libra, the moon moving into Libra in conjuncting Mars in Taurus. How do you think this is
Wow.
happening? Mars going into
So right now we're gonna be in
Taurus.
the area. We're gonna be initiating ways of connecting with the collective on a social sense. Since Libra is a social sign, what are we bringing to our social life? We're bringing everything we're building in Uranus, in Taurus, and what we communicated in Gemini, and then how we truly felt in the new moon conjuncting the sun in Cancer. So right now we're gonna be emotionally connecting that with the entire collective to communicate about let the world, our relationship, the people we're married to, our partnership and things of that, even our open enemies and things of that nature. But with that in conjunction to Mars in Taurus, it's like we're
Yeah.
supposed to take physical action, but we're emotionally trying to be almost like goofy, light-hearted with bringing people and connecting with people in our social life instead of taking action towards to build what we've been passionate and desiring while the Mars was in Aries. Right now Mars going into Taurus. So it's gonna be like emotionally focused on socialism, liberal, while Mars and Taurus wanting us to build more, be more conservative in a sense.
I get what you mean for sure, and that in conjunction is happening when both signs are or both planets are ripe into
Mm-hmm.
the respective signs. So it's kind of like the early energy of that, where it's Mars is just getting into trying to take action on that practicality in building. So it's still kind of new and volatile. And
Mm-hmm.
same thing with the moon in terms of it's just trying to start to express and start the conversation about how it feels. So it's like it's that first phase of seeing how these things can coexist or how you can do these at the same time, and it's gonna be feel rough, it's gonna be feel weird. It's like can I do this at the same time? But you have to experience the energy and throw that out in order for you to find that equilibrium, for you to discover the Venus connection, to find balance along that level with those planets
Yeah,
and those
yeah. So
signs.
like,
And the Mars going into Taurus, man. I just remember. I think I said it last week. That's when that January 6th shit happened. 2020, and Uranus is still there. So and the North Node is there too. We can expect some crazy shit for that transit for
mm-hmm.
sure, for sure. That's exciting and
Mm-hmm.
scary at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
And then the Moon in Libra, or Mars and Taurus is making a trine to Pluto. Wait,
Because it's in 0 degrees. That's why. Because
making a
Pluto's in
trine.
28 degrees, 27 degrees.
Ah,
It's based upon
yeah,
degrees. That's why they're trining each other and
exactly.
stuff like that. Because you could say Pluto in
Yeah, for
Capricorn is
sure.
cusping Aquarius too. So it's almost like this whole dynamic of
Yeah,
you're going from being
that's
emotionally
true.
practical and then emotionally connecting with your social life, and then that will create opportunity for your status, business, and then your association.
For sure, for sure. So I can see, yeah, especially with us being in Cancer season and dealing with these comfortabilities. Um, Hold on, Millie, take him out. But yeah, being in Cancer season, dealing with our comfortabilities and our home life, and reflecting upon these aspects is really um, uh, helping us deal with what we have to let go with
Mm-hmm.
Pluto and
Mm-hmm.
Capricorn, if you get what I mean. Like helping us start to see the story or the timeline as we deal with that axis of the things that we are going to have to eventually let go and deal with.
Yeah, Pluto is
Um,
trying to get you to toughen up.
Definitely seeing that flaring up.
Mm-hmm.
That's for sure. That's for sure. Mercury and Cancer trying Moon in
Mercury is
Libra.
just leaving Gemini, and then the Moon just entering Libra. So it's gonna be
Mm-hmm.
it's gonna be almost like
Mm-hmm.
you're attempting right now to, instead of thinking about the larger, broader picture of thinking, ideas, analyzation. You already did that with Mercury being in Gemini, but right now. What was it? Oh, Mercury being in Cancer. Right now, you're thinking much more about your home. You're trying to think of much more intuitive, as opposed to being so logical. You're trying to put your own personal ideas, feelings aside, and think about home, comfort. How can home contribute to your own way of thinking, or what type of ideas you collect from your home, and things of that nature. And that trying to the Moon in Libra is almost like allowing you to think and add in or bring in your home and family into your social life, or bring your social life into your home and family. It's like it's creating a room for both of them to be balanced out as both of these planets enter those early degrees of each other.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I definitely see that. Especially now that the Mercury's catching up to the sun. Mercury was in retrograde, and then going through Gemini. It's like our mind started working at a higher octave, where you're starting to understand how your mind is being directed, and how you're directing your mind, and the thoughts that are in your mind, and how you speak, and how you can prefer to speak, and how you can best utilize the way that you can communicate. Now you're starting to become more comfortable with that aspect. Now it's starting to become more familiar. You're testing that understanding out on your friends and family at home, um, and that's helping you start the conversation
Mm-hmm.
on your
Mm-hmm.
emotions. It's helping you be able to access that communicative
Mm-hmm.
barrier.
You realize how much emotion has influence on your thoughts and logic and things of that nature. So actually, Cancer Season is all about learning how to direct your emotion, learning how to direct that first part of the water cycle, which lead into the totality of the water cycle later on, Pisces.
Facts, yeah, for sure. Payless in Gemini.
Basically, Palace was the god was it was an asteroid that deal with teaching you and allow you to connect ideas together because she was based on the only goddess was able to fight the god of war Ares, but she was able to defeat him based on strategy, logic, and connecting different ideas together. So Palace right now moving into Gemini, you're moving from the area of you've been connecting different practical fixated values together, like you had this one value, this value, and you're putting it together to create this new strategy to go about your business. You fixated material realm, you might be working and then you're having crypto hustle on the side and things of that nature. But right now Palace in Gemini is almost right now you're having the energy to put different mental concepts together because we don't realize how much other when other planets go to through our house, they actually allow us to build a house from a different perspective, from a different angle, and things of that nature. So you could expect a lot of new ways of connecting ideas, along with the whole concluding of Gemini season, basically.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I see that for sure. Wednesday. Oh, so that's Tuesday. Looking at Wednesday, July 6th, the moon moving into later degrees of Libra, making a square with the sun in Cancer. How do you think this is going
So
to
as
play
we're
out?
emotionally reacting to initiating logical ways of creating more harmony in our own relationship, our personal life, our marriages, and things of that nature, trying to bring more of these friends, family into this unique value that we've been developing and this new way we feel about it. But we can't let the new way we feel about it clash with the logical way we go about creating harmony in our association because sometimes how we feel could lead into uncomfortable situation for other people because we're trying to express too much feelings and emotion. The flung side of moon, cancer, all cancer signs and things of that nature, it leads everybody to be uncomfortable. That's literally shows you how much power they have when it comes to controlling water cycles. They end up controlling everybody's feelings and things of that nature.
Yeah,
So
that's
that's good.
facts.
Mickey is really about learning how to bring your home life with your marriage life together. Try to close the gap together, and that's why we had the moon go from the new moon in Cancer into Leo, so you could express it, entertain it. Then Virgo, you could practicalize it. Right now in your Libra, socialize it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And yeah, and try and start the conversations on these emotions, and try to balance your emotions on a social level. But with the square in Cancer can be like, I see it playing out like, say, can you're like, I feel so and so, I
Mm-hmm.
feel this way, and then the moon is challenging you through social situations where the person that you're talking to is like, I don't think you should feel like that, and then you're like, what? You're like, yeah, you just spent this time sifting through your energy, going through your mind, seeing the thoughts to come to the conclusion of how you feel, and you're seeing that, and you're responding to that, and this is what you feel. That's the reality you're in, and then someone's like, you shouldn't feel that way. It's kind of like you don't know how to bridge the gap. It's like, yo, what are they talking about? This is how I feel. But I'm seeing the challenge in the dynamic, in the social dynamic. So it's like, how do I express how I feel then? If if they're not meeting me halfway, or if I'm trying to go halfway and and it's not being met, or I'm being thrown into these social type situations where the talk is maybe even lighter than what I actually feel, or the emotions that I want to express, or you're right, like it's going to ruin the mood or darken things or dampen things, and maybe you're not wanting to do that because in terms of wanting to be
Mm,
likable. So I can definitely see that being a square, holding back your real feelings in terms of being more diplomatic. But then you feel that frustration inside because you want to express those feelings. Like what I was saying, you don't want to hold on to those feelings with Cancer season. It'll quickly turn toxic.
mm,
If you're a Cancer and you hold
mm-hmm.
on to feelings, I guarantee you keep doing that shit for a month, you're gonna blow up on your little brother who's just trying to get his little fruit gushers, or he's just trying to get his little snack, and you pop him
Mm-hmm.
upside the head or some shit like that. On your family, your friends, you just
Mm-hmm.
blow up on them
Mm-hmm.
out of nowhere. And with Cancer happens like in a month, or every month or two. If you're like that, and then you start
Yeah.
destroying
Oh.
certain things with Scorpio or something like that, it'll be like years, bro, and it'll be a whole complete transformative situation that
Yeah.
they'll
Yeah.
go through. It's kind of different with that, but with Cancer, you don't want to get
Yeah.
into that
Mm-hmm.
habit. You really say how you feel, even if you kind of look flunked out sometimes, But you have to understand how to balance that equilibrium. If you have that energy, you're gonna have to see how, and that's what that moon's sun square is
Mm,
kind of
so
really showing us.
cancers, all you gotta do is just look at how the lymphatic and immune system works. The lymphatic immune system works negatively every single time you attempt to hold on to something. You always gonna be releasing, circulating things, letting things to flow out. So please out through the same way through their personality versus people with more Scorpio energy, which plays out as worst type of issues because it takes later on to happen. It's the holding on to feeling playing out
Yeah.
biologically as a larger issue because it's dealing with the hormonal system, the reproductive versus the early stages of the water cycle, cancer, the immune and lymphatic system. This is why they say the eighth house deals with death, addictions, and like very dark things because this is what the initial fears could lead into the how you deal with the lymphatic immune system.
Yeah. 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 How well it's able to take care of those toxins,
Mm,
and cleanse your body and keep it pure, keep it nurtured in an environment
mm,
for it to be able to grow.
mm.
That's for sure. That's for sure. So then you also have, what is it? The moon in Libra opposite Jupiter and Chiron in
So
Aries. How do you
as you're
see this
attempting to
playing
be
out?
diplomatic and more social about how you truly feel, even though there's this square, you're feeling a little bit agitated because some people are testing you in your social life, and then some people, your family, is saying this and that. But then you can back down on some of the original passions and the way you personally see certain things depending upon your Karyan, how you've been traumatized, how you've been hurt, and then what you supposed to go on a journey and learn about and extract knowledge and wisdom. Jupiter in Aries, so it's almost you're caught up between. I know I gotta be social for these few days to make my emotion feels comfortable, but I know I can't be too social and too passive to the point that I kill my own ways of seeing and feeling about things personally.
And that you stunt
Yeah,
your
that's all.
own growth, or you let your emotions get in the way of putting faith in yourself and your
This is why
individual.
Mars is naturally debilitated in Libra because the Libras will like they produce social justice type of people, essentially, like white knights, the people who would die for
Yeah.
society, even if their society is wrong.
Yeah, exactly. Even if it's wrong and they know it is, they choose that
Like that's the
personal
entire
connection over
that's the
everything,
entire of like
over
Pluto
everything.
and Libra generation. A great example is George Washington as an entire generation. George, his entire friends, all of them were Pluto and Libra. Look at the situation they been caught up in. They knew, most likely knew what they were gonna do is wrong. It's kind of funny we talk about this on July the 4th, as things like that. They knew what they were gonna
A
do is wrong,
lot.
smoke all these Indians, but they were caught up between a situation between this state cooperation called Britain and this state, this Indians rule at this another state down to them Morocco. They're almost dealt with this. They're caught up in a whole another politics, and they gotta pick the most safest liberal choice out of all of them, and that was to side with Britain.
Mhm.
You
Mhm.
can't blame them
Mhm.
at the end because look at the conclusion that led to in reality. Even though it was bad, look at where we are right now.
Yeah. How it played out. Yeah, that's for sure. That's for sure. And then it's also making the moon making a trine to Saturn in
So
Aquarius.
it's almost
You
like
see
I
that?
gotta be social, but I gotta remember how I feel, but that I can't kill what I need to learn about. But I'm approaching things from a much more wise way as I'm expressing or reacting to this social energy with this trying to Saturn as you remind me of my where I fit in the entire collective as opposed to being friendly with everybody. It's creating opportunity for me to connect with my associations.
Yeah. Yeah. And after you make sense out of your emotions with the moon in Virgo and kind of have a better a grip of how you can distribute these energies with the moon in Libra, you kind of have the moon in Libra makes you extend your hand emotionally. You trying to make the bridge, that peace bridge on an emotional level. But if we have been planting the right seeds, the relationships that you're going out to start to create are ones that are actually going to serve to balance you, ones that are actually going to serve to help create an emotional equilibrium in your life. So through those through even you extend your hand in that way, and being open to creating relationships to that level, it's just paving the way for you to meet like-minded people, especially if you're
Mm.
honest with your emotions while this is going through. You're just gonna find like-minded people and a structure for you to join that you can add to and feel like you are doing something within the world, or find a soul group and you guys can really start making teamwork
Mm-hmm.
makes the dream work and start
Yeah,
building together.
heavy cardinal energy from all sides. And Wednesday, you're getting some Aries, you're getting some Cancer, you're getting some Libra. But if you're initiating all these things, dealing with the same concept, same idea, you could benefit a lot instead of allow them to crash into each other. That square, that tension. This is why you see people life all over the place because they do one thing in this one area of life, it's not connected to this another area of life, so they end up clashing.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's facts. And you and really allow yourself to understand, with especially with Wednesday, because it's all cardinal, because it's that heavy cardinal type energy. Don't be or try and resist too much, if you get what I mean, or try to go against the grain, because a lot of change will be happening. So it's more so prepared to handle change and act within the moment. And we have to really let go of results, especially when we're talking about cardinal signs when we're initiating things. You can't be talking about, oh, maybe you'll end up like with Aries. It's like, I want to see myself in this specific way. I want this. You're not gonna know, oh, I'm gonna have this amount of wisdom after I went and do this because I'm gonna go through this and all of that. It's like, you nigga, you don't even see all of that yet. But you'll never be able to get to that point until you start. So allow the change to set you on a new path and direction, and
And
have faith in yourself. That's what Jupiter in
and
Aries is.
jump
I
on the
have
roller
faith in
coaster
yourself.
of like direct energy towards like your goal and objective.
E- exactly, exactly. Go for it. I should say, on Wednesday, it's the energy of really go for it. Looking, and that's Wednesday. Looking at Thursday, the 7th, July 7th, the moon is moving on that cusp, moving into Scorpio, that cusp of Scorpio Libra, and it's making that square with Pluto and Capricorn. How do you think that
Mm, so
square is gonna
so
hit
right
us?
now we're in the I think the second quarter we're dealing with the fall season. So we're looking at what we gotta emotionally let go of so we can reach the winter season where we're gonna hit this moon conjunction with Capricorn, which is very important since it's gonna be the full moon right there. So right now the moon being in Libra, cusping Scorpio, we're feeling that we have gathered enough energy about our social life. We brought it close to our home life and things of that nature. We didn't allow it to clash with our own personal ways of seeing and feeling about things and what we need to grow in and things of that nature. But the moon in late Libra hitting Scorpio is allowing us to allow ourselves to be in an emotional, like find emotional security and emotional depth that could allow us and prepare us for this tension this square is going to be created with Pluto, power and control issues. Pluto is going to test how much power and control issues that you have when it comes to the physical reality, when it comes to initiating your business plan. And Pluto wants to see how does me utilize the government against you is going to make you feel, and when it comes to your vulnerabilities as you move deeper into those early degrees of Scorpio, especially with the moon. So expect like a lot of um, government questioning how you're participating in the totality of things almost,
Mm-hmm.
and like you feeling
Mm-hmm.
vulnerable about it.
For sure. For sure. For sure. Especially off of the relationships of the conversations that you had tried to start around your emotions with the moon being in Libra. I can see, especially with the moon being in Libra. The moon being in Libra is the tarot card of the shorty holding the two swords, wearing the
Mm-hmm.
blindfold, because it can lead to a lot of gullible type of emotions. You wanting to believe the best case scenario, that had presented itself. So, and if you are taking the information in Virgo and then quickly seeing scenario that seems, looks good, and everything, and going quickly taking all of that, but without retaining that information that you had analyzed, kind of taking the fluff, um it could lead moving into Pluto and Capricorn. You having a heavier square, leaving to more vulnerabilities. You feeling more open and exposed in an area that you were supposed to feel
Mm-hmm.
emotionally secure. So it's important that the you don't bring out the gullible, blind following side of the moon in Libra throughout these transits, and you won't feel as vulnerable, or to understand that that's where it is coming from. You know, Try and fixate yourself on emotional stability and and what that really means, and that'll help give you the serious mindset to deal with this Pluto
Mm-hmm.
square. Kind of remind yourself of the later degrees of Scorpio, what Scorpio's meant for to lead into, to kind of help you deal with this late degree square going into Pluto, because later on it'll actually help you, that serious mindset that it's shaking you into
Mm-hmm.
seeing.
If Libra energy is liberalism and things of that nature, then Scorpio, the eighth house, what's after it is the dark reality of what Libra just communicated about on surface level, but we don't realize
Yeah,
the depth of it. This is why
exactly,
it squares
exactly,
Capricorn, business and structure, while Capricorn sextile Scorpio.
exactly. Exactly, because Capricorn can take that understanding it and better manage it. You know, understand how to create a structure and organization around these type
Hmm.
things. And then the moon is going to be opposite Mars in Taurus on that cusp. Moon being in Scorpio, moving into Scorpio, opposing Mars in
Yeah,
Taurus. How do you
it's
think
almost
that's gonna
like
hit?
you're attempting to take action to benefit your social life, but it's almost like the opposition to Mars in Taurus. You want to take practical action. You want to take in depth. You want to feel it in your physical senses. While Libra, your emotion want to be lighthearted. You want to be goofy. You want to be entertaining and things of that nature. And that's what Mars in Taurus does not fuck with. Mars in Taurus wants practical actions. It wants to get you. It wants you to get your hands dirty and specifically learn to be patient and taking your time as you grind this aggression and this passion to this physical reality. Just don't be too lighthearted that you fuck things up for Mars and Taurus. Because Mars and Taurus is gonna be here for a while,
Mm-hmm.
building structure.
Yeah, and if you let the because with the moon in Scorpio, it's debilitated in Scorpio, so it starts being really overwhelming when you're looking at your emotions from such a deep, um, place. You know, you start to digging up things that are a little bit deeper or more closer to your core. So when you're with Mars and Taurus, it kind of will take away your motivation and your energy to go out and build and start and put your energy to things that are practical and maybe start seeping some of that energy, causing you to protect your emotions to feel secure, instead of allowing the energy to to go out to build something physical. You just kind of start being
Mm-hmm.
more retained,
th-
um,
th-
with that, more
this
more
is why the
conservative.
masculine side of Mars, which rules your nervous system, could allow you to connect to your second house hormone system much more quicker because look at the distance and location between the first house and the second house. They're right beside each other. But if you look at the distance and location between the second house Taurus and the eighth house Scorpio is a very long distance. So as your Mars in Taurus attempting to build the Scorpio is such a vulnerable area in our body that lead to a lot of internalization and a lot of energy conserving in a sense that does not allow you to be aggressive considering that Mars in Taurus right now. So you might be really feeling slowed down in a sense.
Mm-hmm. And it's funny, yeah, it is a sensitive area,
A
Scorpio.
lot of
Ladies, imagine you have a UTI. You're gonna feel like like a yeast infection, and you're gonna feel so that motivated, to go and build, and to be in your body, and doing all of that. Same thing with dudes, like that area
yeah,
being
it's like
sensitive. It's a
it,
very
it could like
sensitive area.
when a dude looks at a chick and a female, it could lead to the dark side of Scorpio. This is why the moon is debilitated. Think about all these dark Lilith eighth house type of scenarios.
For sure,
This
for
is actually
sure.
why it leads me to thinking women could handle their desire, eighth house desire, much more better than men because they're much more closer to that energy, that eighth house energy, and then being closer to the moon,
Yeah,
females, and things of that nature.
yeah, yeah, for sure. More able to handle
And like the
receptive
realm of
energy.
chaos, lack of shape or form, while men need uh, illusion, shape, form, sun.
Mm-hmm. 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 That's facts. And we talked about
Hmm.
Saturn in Aquarius
Yeah,
trining the
we did,
moon
yeah.
in Libra. So that's Thursday. Friday on July 8th, with the moon deeper into Scorpio, sets to make a trine with the sun and Mercury in Cancer. How do you think this is going to hit us?
So with this new energy that you initiate about how you felt and what you connected with your awareness, so you could connect where your water cycle goes, so you know where to put your feelings and emotion and things of that nature. The moon in Scorpio is gonna allow you to almost like looking for the depth and the darkness and the vulnerability of things that prevent you from initiating comfortability or allow you to look deeper at your home life, look at your family and things of that nature, but also vice versa, allow you to bring that Cancer sense of lightheartedness, of being direct when it comes to vulnerabilities, eighth house things, and things of that nature. It's almost like your lymphatic or immune system is allowing your reproductive system to work better, so reproductive system could do its job. For example, female, they go pregnant now, depending upon how clean and protected their body are, because their body's supposed to protect the child, and things of that nature.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. The moon in Scorpio will definitely maybe even manifest. It can happen a lot of different ways. You know, whether you take that reflect and notice that energy yourself, or it's life that manifests a situation that puts you into that where somebody pokes your sore spot, or tries to go into your deep domain, and then you start experiencing the vulnerability. It's like, oh, there's this vulnerability here. Oh, there's this breach in the wall here, an area where I'm not emotionally secure in. Um, and then it'll let you know the work that you need to do, what you need to let go in order for you to have that comfortability in Cancer, just like what you were saying. In order for you to um, open to feeling things, you have to
Mm-hmm.
understand, where that energy had went last time when you had done that before, and all of that, for you to be open to creating a new home, for you to be open enough to creating new comfortabilities, new ways of feeling about things, and establishing familiarity. Because what if your previous situations of familiarity in home is not something that is nice, and maybe you would refrain from it. So it's kind of putting that into the forefront for us to really deal with that, and to um, maybe even remind us of the good energy of the things we are emotionally secure of, to remind us that we can go and establish this comfortability, that we can create a new family, and we've done it before within this sense, and to kind of remember. So it's heavy reflective emotional type energy I'm seeing going on.
Yeah, because your emotions and then your actions and then your thoughts, they're all gonna be in sync together, essentially. But it's almost gonna be like your moon emotion stuck in this dark water cycle, and then your sun and Mercury is attempting to initiate new waters and feelings to move this dark water cycle and to get it working and things
Exactly.
of that nature. It's almost like us being in winter, but then spring comes in and then heats up the water.
Yeah. Yep. Exactly like that. Yeah, for sure. Um, then the moon is opposing Uranus and um, the North Node in Taurus. How do you think that plays out?
Oh, yeah, it's gonna be an opportunity. Whoa! So as you're hitting the depth of your vulnerabilities about how you truly feel about your home and what you want to learn from your home and give your meaning and reasoning to and things of that nature, is reading that bring the sense of how much lack of safety that you have, because Uranus is conjuncting the North Node, reminding you of the lack of existence that exists there that you have to go build for yourself, and this unknown path that you gotta go to while you're reacting to how much maybe you don't have enough money, so that makes you feel vulnerable. You don't have a plan, so you feel vulnerable. So you can't even stand up and look straight because you know you have nothing. You feel naked, the dark. You don't have to come to the physical world and take shape or form because you can't come out your own darkness shell. If cancers they can come out their own shell, then Scorpios they can come out their own like black hole, if you will.
That's facts. Like they're frozen in time, like the caveman type shit. like
That
like that's
that's it.
that, a whole bunch of emotions and stuff that is preventing them from getting out, exposing them their real self to the world.
That's it.
And it's like, yo, Scorpio, where you been? When the ice
Yeah,
melts a
look,
million years later, you're like, Scorpio, where you been, bro?
every time I see a Scorpio, they made me question: Are they still stuck in the dark ages, or did they make it back here?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Definitely see that. That's for sure. That's for sure. And then Venus and Gemini is making it in conjunction to the moon in Scorpio. How do you think that's that's I don't know.
It's almost um it's like you trying to you want to enter a multiple relationship, or like think about the potential of multiple relationship from this intellectual perspective, because you're thinking logically about your desires and how you feel and things of that nature. But then you may not understand the deep dark end of other people vulnerabilities when it comes to their own relationships, when it comes to connecting to people. It's gonna be almost like you're one of those people. It'd be like in Venus and Gemini, I'm gonna go outside and talk to as many girls that I want, but then you don't understand the deep dark end of their eighth house, their own issues. This is why
You meet the crazy
you
bitch.
meet the crazy one all every single time, and you as a Gemini be questioning, be looking at yourself, telling yourself you might be thinking you're the best guy, the nicest guy, but it's how flunked out your mind got you to that point based on
Yeah.
desires, yo, based on logic, because you think things could move just like air, balloons. You don't understand the depth, the dark of reality.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
almost like a
Eh,
Joker walking into like this miserable scene of people dying.
yeah. 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 For sure. Yeah, Venus doesn't want, and Venus and Gemini doesn't want to be serious. It doesn't want to go as deep as where the moon in Scorpio is gonna go. The moon is debilitated. The moon's asking for help, and Venus, you're partying. And, you're partying. Was like, help me, help me. Being like, no, I'm dancing right now. I'm trying to do all of this type of stuff. So be careful. You may either spark not even just a relationship, but maybe give off or receive some type of energy that is not going to help towards emotional security. It may take
It's like,
you away from that, make you more flunked
yeah,
out and not take it
it
serious.
might make you flirt out by accident, which lead to the wrong scenario. Like just one wrong eye contact, one wrong word in the wrong place. Ooh.
Yep, and you done trigger a whole thing, and then say, it would be, and then say you done triggered the way you had looked. You made it some guy, now some guy's obsessed with you or something like that. A lot of people don't realize you think that that's his problem, that you didn't somehow manifest that energy into your life, but it's a reflection of whatever energy you've been holding on to and whatever God's trying to show you, and when and going to throw that person in the light. So, you really don't want to it's okay to experiment and to try these new things and to keep open your options, but don't neglect how it's making you feel. Even if it's weird and it's awkward, take those signs. No one to step back. You don't have to try everything. You don't have to try everything. So when you start feeling those awkwardness and not knowing what it is, understand to remember your core. Remember you needed to have some amount of emotional stability to not leave yourself out there bare. To deal with that energy before it comes for you.
Yeah. I
That's for sure.
understand the depth of nothingness, because you came out nothingness. The better you are at transformation, taking power control, the better you are at giving birth and things of that nature. And literally, what Scorpio rules,
Exactly.
reproductive system. But people be
Exactly.
abusing their reproductive system abilities.
That's for sure. That's for sure. So that's how Friday's looking. Looking at Saturday, July 9th. The moon in Scorpio is conjunct the south node. So it's kind of like what we were talking about, like those deeper insecurities, kind of more connected to your past, even past lives, if it really goes that deep. Some of us been holding on to some shit for multiple timelines, multiple
This is why
dimensions, multiple.
this is why Neptune is retrograding right now. Is giving you the chance to enter those realms of reality, so you could do like a whole detoxification diet with this South Node in Scorpio, so you can let go of those memories that you built a long time ago, so you can move on and expand with this new moon cycle in Cancer.
Exactly. That reminds me of Avatar, Last Airbender, speaking, going into the meditative state and speaking to all the previous avatars to start understanding the energy he's being hit with. Like, yo, what y'all niggas do to the world? It's like, what's going on? And he's going in and meditating, and he starts seeing all the whole connections that his spirit has been going through, starting to understand that the whole perspective of the story and how them as a spirit is seeing this experience that is right in front of them.
And like you're gonna feel it on an intuitive level, yo. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, deep, and it's making a try with, with Neptune and Pisces. So yeah, you definitely can believe that you'll be within that realm, kind of helping you. You know, this is why I am a firm believer that delusion is one of the most useful energies, depending on how you use it. It's risky though. It's especially in a world like this. Like this is what the Masons and shadow government be doing to themselves. You couldn't tell them shit that their God's not the real God, or you couldn't.
They
say that
put
shit.
themselves in their own illusion, but based on your perspective, you're gonna call this illusion, but you're not understanding the game that you're supposed to create an illusion to live in it as a form of structure for yourself, because you're not seeing things from like a whole astrological point of view. He's viewing it as that. So what? Then what? You don't understand the totality of things.
Exactly, and that kind of helps you understand that when you're seeing it all kind of in front of you in an emotional sense, you know, it's kind of like you're seeing where all of these influences are coming from, all the different areas that you are being tugged from.
Because feelings don't lie. The first initial feelings that you feel about something is like truth, is really the closer piece towards your heart, which is the closest thing to you as a spirit, as an observer, as nothing.
Yeah, for sure. And once you do that, now you have really control over your emotional state of being. Depending on whatever can happen, you can choose using your imagination, you know, and how you see that things or how it
Notice
is.
how every single time a person from a certain geographical location, once he meet or view a different group from a different geographical location, they're further out. What does he have about them? Most nine times out of 10, an illusion about them completely, because of the separation, the distance between where he is and this is where they are.
Yeah, yep, that's facts. That's definitely it literally creates that whole, it separates worlds because of those illusions, you
Now
know. And now you'll be looking at this person like there's something
that
different and not seeing the similarities, you know, or and you guys probably believe the same thing. You just call it Muhammad, he calls it Jesus, you know. You know, but for somehow there's this whole illusion that this nigga's gonna blow up that building, and then he thinks that you're trying to destroy his religion. You know, this is all type of different
because a
confusion
lot
on
of us
that
don't
level.
understand, our first bodies are like a dreams, imagination, illusions, and they actually the most external outer things to us. This is why your skin represents Pisces and exists outside your body. This is why you see other people's skin the first time when you meet them and things of that nature.
Exactly. Imagine Pisces as like the last layer of your aura, where it blends, where you don't know where you end and the Earth's electromagnetic field, the Earth's aura, or another person's aura ends. It's that transition between your aura, your energy, and the outside energy.
This is why I oppose Virgo details, analyzation, so you could separate yourself from the totality of the flow.
Exactly. And then what? The moon being in Scorpio is making a square with Saturn in Aquarius now.
Oh, Saturn is retrograde Aquarius too. It's okay. It's gonna be like, uh, our vulnerabilities are being tested to see if we have the right association. It's gonna help us to build the right structure that we need with everything move. Well, not moving forward, moving backwards. Saturn given this period of time to rebuild, take responsibility, restructure. It comes to our association ideas with such a unique individual, and the moon in Scorpio is gonna let us see the deep dark end of our association. Our association is like our association worth it? Are they losers? Are they hiding things from us? This is why the 11th house square the 8th house, because we get to see the people we're associated with in the business world. Capricorn the 10th house, what they could really, they could how who they could really be are. Scorpio 8th house, this is why they all are on this the same area. hmm so it's really putting us in like the whole perspective to really uh yo, what were we talking about? I kind of got lost.
No worries. Moon in Scorpio,
Oh
Saturn in
yeah, yeah.
Aquarius.
Basically, we're trying to see
I
our
do-
association fit how we truly feel, and how we truly feel. Does it fit
mhm.
the image of what we're thinking and seeing right now in our association?
Yeah, for sure. That whole act, like the fixed cardinal, those
Mm,
crosses is really dealing with love at a large scale,
yeah,
where like self love is like
love
Taurus.
is what lead into fixated sign materialization of energy from the cardinal point of view, from the cardinal then the fixed. Yeah, I agree with you that they represent love in a sense, because materialization, it begins with an awareness which lead into love.
Yeah, for sure. And then look at their traits and how Taurus is. Taurus is self
Mm,
worth, and then how you self worth determines on how you connect and deeply
mm,
exchange with other people
mm,
on a sensual level. How you go and make connections and love other people depends on your second house, your self worth. Same thing with fifth house is how you give love, how you have fun, and how you give love directly connects with Aquarius, how you want to receive love, how what's likable, and how you what's individual about you and your social life. So it's really how lovable
mm,
you are. It's really dealing with love on that
mm,
level. So when you see that square with fixed signs, you a lot of it is along that level, how you express, your love, whether it be for yourself or for other people. You can see a challenge on that spectrum when you see it with that stuff. So with Moon and Scorpio, while you're trying to fixate on your own connections, or emotionally responding to your own connections, sat and deeply connecting that, understanding the deep connections of your emotions and the type of relationships you want to have, the type of things that will make you feel emotionally secure. Saturn in Aquarius, it was asking us to forget about our own self and to forget about our emotions and to sacrifice that and to bring more discipline and restriction in order to be more practical in the reward for stability. But our emotions aren't at that phase yet, or we're holding on to our emotions, not trying to control them and manipulate them, or bring them to a logical stage, like with
mm,
Aquarius. So it'll turn off. I feel like it's bringing up a lot of how you're going to respect yourself, or how you're going to respect your relationships, in terms of what you're going to abandon, what you're going to acknowledge. Do you have these insecurities, these vulnerabilities, and you're gonna go and create associations, or join, entertain ideas, conversations, and stuff like that that directly oppose those things. It's going to really challenge how you are going to stay true to yourself and your personal passions and desires, and where you're going to let things go for society in terms of being logical in terms of being the
Mm-hmm.
most practical. So I see it a very challenging thing, showing you how self love versus love of other people, and forcing you to deal with that dynamic.
Definitely.
Yeah, and then well, yeah, that's what Saturn and Aquarius. And we kind of already talked about Moon and Scorpio opposed Uranus in the North Node. Um, looking, and that's
Yeah, Saturday.
Saturday. Looking at Sunday,
Mm-hmm.
the 10th. The Moon's moving into Sagittarius now, making a trine with Jupiter and Chiron in Aries. We're getting that
Mm.
fire now. Well, out of all of that reflective and earth type energy, we had to be emotional and be in our bodies. Now we're having that inner
Mm.
spark. Now we're starting to feel it. Now it's more outwards expressing that type of thing. Now we don't have to. It's gonna be easier for us to express ourselves and less, just being hit with
A hundred
emotions.
percent. So basically, when the last part of the second part of the moon cycle, where we fully look at emotion, reacting to things from a much more spiritual, broadened uh, point of view, trying to give meaning and reasoning to things based upon our current experience, and attempting to be flexible and adaptable with these visions and imagination that we're seeing. This is what gives Sagittarius the sense of wisdom, and to they're flexible and adaptable with all visions and imagination, different ways of seeing reality that other people see. This is what makes them wise, and this is what gives them this spiritual, egotistical head to see things from a high horse in a sense. And this could allow you to see what led into the Catholic Church if you want to go all the way to that situation. But right now we have the moon in
Mm-hmm.
Sagittarius trine Jupiter and Chiron, so that's as into the whole conclusion of what you decide to fixate yourself on expressing on the stage. But right now the moon in Sagittarius allowing you to like almost practicalize from a metaphysical point of view. If Virgos practicalize from a logical sense, I feel like Sagittarius they practicalize from a spiritual point of view to allow us come up with a broader sense of what I did I just expressed on my heart while it was opposing Saturn and Aquarius. Didn't make sense because we know the moon in Sagittarius is going to sextile Saturn and Aquarius. So that's what the moon is getting us really to see. And if we express the right things, Sagittarius will start going to give us the meaning and reason to go on to do whatever we're going to do because it's mutable fire. But if it finds the right area, it could continue feeding it. And the trying to Jupiter is allowing more healing through wisdom, and Jupiter rules Sagittarius. So Jupiter really likes this journey that the moon been through since the new moon cycle that started in Cancer, squaring Jupiter, Mars, and the Sun in Cancer. So that quite beneficial learning energy.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And especially after the moon's coming off of Scorpio, which is death, which is, winter's coming. And you now move it into Sagittarius, and it's understanding the broader concepts of that. After you come out of understanding death, and then you look at Aries birth, and, you have a different perspective on it. It's not like oh, babies are, oh, you lose um it's responsibilities, or, oh, you can't talk to, or whatever negative things that you might associate with birth, or the ripeness of
Mm-hmm.
things, naivety, or, not having enough perspective of things, whatever you would associate. You have a complete different perspective after winter, after Scorpio, after you feel that cold wind start licking you. You start remember, oh yeah, remember springtime when everything started to defrost, and, the birds
Mm-hmm.
started chirping and all of that. You remember that stuff, and especially because it's Cancer season, and we're opening up to how we creating a new family, and how we feel, and trying to establish comfortability, being comfortable with the uncomfortable. And now with the moon transit coming into Sagittarius, we're finding we have built wisdom and knowledge emotionally through dealing with that type of stuff. And now we can have a higher arcing perspective of what comfort is. And then look, I was making a chart with Jupiter, Moon in Sagittarius, Sun in Cancer. So it's very Jupiterian energy right then and there. While Cancer was, while we were understanding how we feel, looking at that, it made us go through experiences that built up a reservoir of knowledge. So now, with this higher reservoir of knowledge of how you can go about establishing comfortability with a higher perspective of it. When you look at Jupiter and Aries, it's like you get out of your way more. You have more meaning and reasoning for you to put your faith into yourself, into your own personal desires. You have more you have more emotional awareness of your purpose, playing around and how you want to direct your spiritual energy. And now you're able to start it. It's kind of Moon in Sagittarius is maybe even giving you a flash of the future. Like after you, especially since it's emotions, after you give that's a certain feeling, or at least you come to terms with a certain feeling and you allow it to come to the surface, and maybe you have an overarching perspective of those emotions. It'll give you a glimpse of that emotional state of being, of what it'll be like once you ascend out of this. So you're like, oh shit, that's sick. Let me Jupiter and Aries start this experience so I can get to that state of being.
Exactly. And like fire signs are the seers of the yin realm. So as CJ explaining what he's talking about with his eyes closing, he's using the fire element to see describing literally what the fire element is.
And I'm a Moon in Sag too.
So you
That's
could
funny.
see how, as you're at creating this fire, to allowing you to see internally, is allowing you to become aware and see the injury that been happening to yourself. Carry on in Aries, while you're having all those
Exactly.
blood trine energy created through the Moon in Sagittarius, trine in Jupiter in Aries, allowing the blood to flow from your muscular system all the way to your brain and nervous system. So you're aware of what's happening in the area you've been damaged in. So yeah.
And even the Moon in Sagittarius, once you get into Sagittarius already makes you feel like you have experienced a lot, or like you have traveled
And it rules
a lot.
what
So it makes it
does
less
the nine
scary.
house rules? Foreign places, long distance travel, and things of that nature.
Exactly. So once you get to Sagittarius, once you get to start building your own moral, having enough information to build up your own moral system, it's less scary to go and jump into things or to start things. You kind of have more respect for your own energy, and that's why it plays out that way. And then the Moon in Sagittarius is opposing Venus in Gemini.
It's
How do you
almost
think
like
that's gonna
I've
play
been
out?
through this entire journey, learning and expanding about how about I originally felt and initiated about my home life. But right now, I know Venus and Gemini want me to experiment with these light-hearted things, while the Moon in Sagittarius is putting you in a situation of more. You feel like your guru, you feel like a hermit in a sense. You don't want to go out there and experiment because you think you have all these knowledge and experiences. While Venus and Gemini is telling you, hey man, you got more experiences out there. I'm just here for the time being, but you might be emotionally feeling that you too broad-minded for two other people. You'll be thinking like you're the Catholic Pope or something.
Yo, that's
then-
facts, bro. That's
And then you don't want
exactly
to
how that
connect with
plays
other
out.
countries, states. You don't want to do trades and nothing. Even though you got this potential of all those economies that wants to communicate and things of that nature. They're not being fixated Aquarius. They're trying to go against you. They're not to be cardinal, initiate something aggressive like Libras, be friends with you. They're starting to see ideas. That's it.
Exactly. That's why it's so important, and then the mutable is more of like a transitionary type scope, type aspect, and that's how that mutable energy kind of plays out. But with Sag, once you that broad perspective really does help. But just like what you were saying, you can get lost in the bigger perspective and lie to yourself that like it's not the little things that make up the journey, or it's not the little facts that had built up
That
the
that's the
knowledge that you
square
have in
between
the
Virgo,
first
the sixth
place.
house, and the ninth house Sagittarius.
Yeah, yeah. That's facts. While Venus and Gemini, yeah, yeah, exactly. It's like, yo, there's all of these experiences, and you never even tried this, you never even tried that, and the moon's like, no, my emotions are supposed to have
Mm-hmm.
purpose, or they're supposed to meet to this
Mm-hmm.
end, this internal vision that I'm seeing, which is powerful to have that type of ability. But you never know. Venus and Gemini may have when opened the door and it showed the separate section. Maybe it was a part of that picture was blacked out a little bit, and then you just went and found a little bit more information, and then now you're seeing a whole different side, or now you start to see texture on the picture, or now it's holographic. If you get what I mean, or now. Oh, you're noticing things in the background of that big picture. Just that there's a little bit more detail can help reshape all of how you're perceiving everything. So don't ever get too high and mighty or too wide perspective that you lose or even disrespect the little details that are there. They all work together and add on to each other.
This will leads, and don't forget to see yourself as always as on top or almost out there. That's what leads into Catholic Church being ruling for over 2,000 years, because they're confident in their spiritual sovereignty, which they're gonna enforce you with. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yep. Yep. It's facts. Moon in Sag in conjunct Sun and Lilith in Cancer.
The moon.
How do you think that's
Oh,
gonna go?
that's crazy. It's almost like I could see how the moon and Sagittarius will blaze out as like the religious leaders having a misunderstanding of how to approach women representing the sun in Cancer, and then Lilith right there too. It's almost like we understand we got this dark primal energy that creates humans, that brings men into existence and things of that nature. But right now, me as the Catholic leader church, I feel like the Bible should only have men inside it, few women should be written inside it, and things of that nature. But we don't understand what that could lead
Mm-hmm.
into, the type of kids they're going to be created with, type of neglect towards home, family, emotion, because we think we have all this knowledge about astrology, astronomy, geometry, but we forget we learned that all from home.
Yeah, I get what you mean. Yeah, it's kind of forgetting that link of where that knowledge had coming from, or where that spiritual or moral system had come
Mm-hmm.
from the home, from a smaller type perspective that had eventually built up into a broader understanding of things. So as you're emotionally reacting to your broader understanding of things, uh, while you're just looking at a box, or your comfortabilities with the sun and Lilith and Cancer and responding to these things, man, that's so dangerous. You can get lost. I seen that. I like with Cancer and Sag. That's a dangerous
Bro,
combo, because you can end up blowing up or oversizing into a small area, just a box, your comfortabilities, and then you start thinking the comfortability, looking at your comfortabilities, thinking it's this whole big thing or it's inflated, but you're still in this small box of things where the shit, you experience the shit out of that box, but it's still just that box, that comfortability, and you can kind of get lost in there.
yeah.
Experiencing those type of things, so it's very dangerous if you don't understand the difference. I understand that the picture changes based on the frame that you put it in.
Exactly. Because the moon Sagittarius is gonna make you initiate this way of seeing inside of you, but then the water energy is gonna make you feel this way inside of you. So you're confused between the seeing and feeling. You don't know which one to go with first. You're having this broader sense of seeing, and then you get all these feelings sparking inside of you. It's almost like when you close your own eyes, you can see the whole battle already.
Yeah, 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 pretty much. And then it's also making it in conjunction to
Mm-hmm.
Uranus and to the
Mm-hmm.
North Node
Well,
in
mhm.
Taurus.
And in conjunction to the Uranus and North Node, yeah, because Sagittarius sense of freedom, or it could the moon, which the moon could make you feel at that period of time, could make you forget the lack of structure that we have in reality and what's happening right now. Make you too wild, too restless. You're not practical. You maybe you're too delusional. Maybe you're too philosophical. It's not leading to anything practical. So that's the in conjunction with the North. No, you gotta remember you have a physical body. You gotta remember these high conclusion of reality, like astrology, could lead to something practical that we see to our day to day, and we could bring it to our reality. So that's what the in conjunction is reminding you. Is reminding you to stay on Earth.
Yeah, yeah, to stay in your body. Especially with Sagittarius, when you're trying to see the big perspective, it can launch you into the future. It can launch you into outside of your body, launch you into your spirit and your spiritual energy, which is obviously not something that you should neglect. But when the world is demanding you to be in your body, when the situation demands for you to be in your body, you want to be there present and not somewhere else. That's where the Sagittarius energy can have you. How we were talking about traveling and stuff like that. Yeah, it does work and broadens your awareness like that. But sometimes when you need to be focused within the moment and right then and
Mm-hmm.
there, it can take you somewhere else. And right now,
Mm-hmm.
you need to be naked right here, North Node and Taurus, because other people are
Mm-hmm.
here adding
and,
all of this
and
energy,
and don't allow the moon in
making that
Sagittarius
unstable.
to create a situation where you convince yourself that God told you that you have to escape from whatever situation that you have to take responsibility from. Don't end up like those Sagittarius. Don't end up like King
Exactly.
James and things of that nature. You know where all these things led. Lack of responsibility.
Exactly. Yeah, lack of responsibility, recklessness, and restlessness. It can really lead to restlessness too, man. Because you feel that you're right, or that you feel that you're within your purpose, or you when you're seeing that, or when that's within view,
Yeah, yeah.
it's kind of hard
Mm,
to sit down and wait. It's kind of hard to just let things um, take their course, or to be
yeah.
patient and diligently do something because you see the picture already. I feel that wholeheartedly. My moon is Sag ass. I look at my girlfriend who's an artist, and I don't understand how she can sit down and paint, something, or draw something for so long. It's like, even when I make music, it's like, if I get tired of the song, I make a whole new song. I'm like, put that to the side and start a whole new song. I can't sit there for half an hour looking at the same song, thinking about the song, trying to shape. I can't do that. But that energy is restless, Especially if I see the big picture of the song, I know how it wants to turn out, and it's not happening too easy. I'll get frustrated and be like, "Fuck this shit! Start a new song,
See,
do something else." So it's
it's
hard
really
to be
true, and I
patient
have
like
like
that.
Sagittarius as my ascendant. I could see that how that affect me, or I end up learning emotionally because my moon squares my ascendant, about what my physical body put me through, realizing, oh, maybe I shouldn't push that far, maybe I shouldn't worked out that hard, maybe I shouldn't ate that. Now I'm
Yeah.
allergic, and so on and so forth. Yeah, but that's what Sagittarius energy leads into learning.
Yeah.
I'm like actually learning. If it's your moon, you're emotionally learning. If it's your ascendant, you're learning physically, like me. If it's your sun, you're learning through your action, your point of views, and things of that nature.
For sure. So on Sunday, I can see that playing out as a naked moment that makes you, or a physical realization that kind of makes you settle down a little bit, and calm down with your emotions. Calm down with, you know, you're starting to see things in a broader sense, ground it to your body, kind of reminding you to ground it to your body, into physical reality, so you can feel the awkwardness. Because without that connection, maybe you can get that big head, or overinflate those emotions, and take them to an
Yeah.
extreme, or go real restless with them. But when you're grounded in your body, or that
Mm-hmm.
nakedness in your body is like, oh yeah, I don't know everything. There's still more to learn. I have to go through these experiences more, or I have to practicalize these and make it to an end. I can't just make it spiritual and
Exactly,
not
because
connect it
remember
to the
what we
body.
have next, the full moon in Capricorn. So you need to make sure whatever
Exactly.
broad-minded conclusion
Exactly.
that you give, you come up with, they gonna lead into business structure. You getting harsh, you getting hard because we're about to hit the moon Pluto Capricorn conjunction, where your knees gonna be really tested. Can you stand on your own based upon that broad-minded, flunked out or proper conclusion that you came up with?
Absolute facts. Absolute facts. That's why full moons kind of start with those in conjunctions. It prepares you to end to. It makes you feel weird. It's like when you're going into a boss battle or something like that, and the scene change or the arena changes, and you're like, "What the fuck?" You know? Oh, what is this? This is a new atmosphere, and then maybe start fighting the little fodder. You know, the semi bosses. You know, after you get into this, and then you go and see the actual big boss that you're going to go and fight. But it's that new transition. It's like, oh, this is a new area. This is not going to work into my favor, or this is not going to be easy anymore. You know, it's like, oh shit, it's not going to.
In
It's getting
conjunctions
harder,
are
harder.
almost like you're driving and then you're looking back as you're switching lanes because you need the checking the blind spot because the blind spot is blurry, it's mutable, it's forever changing. So if if you could turn and you don't look up at your blind spot, you might hit something, you might die. This is why they associate all mutable signs with negative things.
Yep.
Because the mutability that blurs out existence for you and for other people.
Yeah. Yeah. It's funny.
Like this is
That's
why
all the
mutable
serial
signs lead
killers.
into like fucked up situations, but also funny situations.
That's true. That's very true. Yeah, so that's how the week is looking. That's the energy for the week. If you like the video, like and subscribe. We do this every week. Check our website, truspace.biz, and check out our services. We can help you align with all those cosmological forces and really make you start making the dream work, you know. Check out our Instagram, truspace
Thank
underscore,
you for watching,
and
guys.
yeah, thank you for watching. Yeah, yeah. Peace out.